Hi BookTube! My name is Sarah and welcome to the Bookish Knitter. Today I am coming to you with my July 2022 TBR. Say it with me everybody, it's TBR time! Yay! Okay, first off, sorry for the extremely weird lighting. It is dark out because it's going to rain, and I've got my laptop open over here at the side because I need to be able to share the books with you guys that I'm going to be talking about. So that's a thing. So the lighting's a little bit weird today. I apologize greatly for it. I'm actually filming this at like 9:45 in the morning. That's how dark it is outside right now. So July TBR time. I'm very, very excited. So essentially, this is not my full TBR. And for those of you who are new to my channel, what I'm sharing with you here are just the 12 books that are going to be going into the TBR jar of possibilities. And every week or every week I pick 3 to however many books out of here. It's currently empty. I need to add the books in. The little slips of paper with the shoving actual books in here. They're teeny tiny books. Putting them in there, and then actually tomorrow, my reading plans video that's going to be going up tomorrow, I will be pulling from the jar. So that is exciting. So yeah, I am looking forward to it. So this is just, like I said, just a small part of my actual TBR, which is rather big. I pick a lot of books. I put a lot of stuff on my TBR every month. I get to maybe a quarter to a third of what I actually put on my TBR, which doesn't sound like a lot. They're like, you're obviously saying to yourself, then why are you giving yourself so much? Because I like having the choice. I like thinking, okay, what do I feel like reading? Or, picking random things and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what excites me. And that's why I have, in reality, my TBR is well over 5,000 to 6,000 books. If you include physical and digital on my Kindle, on my Kobo, on the Gloss app from Harlequin, I have a lot of books. So for me to whittle that down to a small amount of 50 to 60, still a lot, but it's a lot smaller. It's a smaller area for me to pick from, if you will. So that's what I'm doing here. So let's jump in and get started. Okay, so a couple of these books you will have seen on previous TBRs. They've remade an appearance. Let's see if we can get them read. All of the books are from NetGalley. I have copies of all of them either as e-arcs or as audio arcs from NetGalley. 6 of them are books that have already been released, and 6 of them are new releases for the month of July. So let's jump in and get started. First of all, we have Wait For It by Jenn McKinlay. Pretty sure this has been on a TBR before. I'm almost guaranteed of that. And this one originally came out in August of 2021. So it says, a woman looking for a new lease on life moves to Arizona, where she rents a guest house on a gorgeous property with a mysterious owner. A man who teaches her about resilience, courage, and ultimately true love. In this funny, big-hearted novel about hope and healing from New York Times bestselling author Jenn McKinlay. That's all I'm going to read for you. I don't actually think it takes place in summertime. The books on this TBR have a very summer vibe, and I do have some YA contemporary on here, which to me screams summertime. But I'm pretty sure this book actually takes place in winter because it says, stuck in a dreary Boston winter. And I thought, yeah, that's got to be on the cover Arizona in the winter, not New England in the winter. There's a vast difference. But yeah, so that is the first book that is going to go into the jar. Next up, we have A Duke, the Lady, and a Baby by Vanessa Riley. This is the first book in the Rogues and Remarkable Women series. It came out in June of 2020. You guys are looking at this one going, the title and author sound familiar. That cover doesn't look familiar. It's because I dislike the North American cover, which is this. I'm sorry. I just don't think it's very pretty. It's just, I don't like it. The other cover, let's take the ugly one away. The other cover is the UK cover, which is gorgeous to me. Absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, I am looking forward to this one. I've had it on my TBR for far too long. When headstrong West Indian heiress Patience Jordan questioned her English husband's mysterious suicide, she lost everything. Her newborn son Lionel, her fortune, and her freedom. Falsely imprisoned, she risks her life to be near her child, until the widow's Grace gets her hired as her own son's nanny. but working for his unsuspecting new guardian has perils of its own, especially when she discovers his military strictness bellies an ex-rake of unswerving honor and unexpected passion. So, I mean, what an interesting twist for a historical romance novel, that she's like imprisoned and then gets out and is a nanny for her own son and then falls for his... It sounds so good. And that's my problem. Like that North American cover that I showed, that bright yellow, this book sounds deep. Like there's a lot going on, right? It sounds, like, but the other cover just makes it seem lighthearted. And I'm not saying the book isn't lighthearted. It very well could be when I get to reading it. But it doesn't fit what the book's described. Does that make sense? Whereas the UK cover feels a little more demure, if you will. I guess that's the easiest way for me to explain it. Next up on the list, we have one of the YA contemporaries I was talking about, you guys. This one just came out in June. It sounds so good. When I saw the cover on NetGalley, I'm like, I have to read this. And then when I read what it was about, I'm like, oh, I have to read this. So we have The Edge of Summer by Erica George. Saving the whales has always been Coriander Cabot and her best friend Ella's dream since elementary school. But when tragedy strikes, Cor is left to complete the list of things they wanted to accomplish before college alone, including a marine biology internship on Cape Cod. Cor's summer of healing and new beginnings turns complicated when she meets Mannix, a local lifeguard who completely takes her breath away. But she knows whatever she has with Mannix might not last, and that her focus should be on rescuing the humpback whales from entanglement. As the tide changes, Cor finds herself distracted and struggling with her priorities. Can she follow her heart and keep her promise to the whales and her best friend? Does that not sound delightful? Like, pulling at the heartstrings, a contemporary summer romance, saving the whales, Cape Cod. I'm sold. I'm in. Probably the darkest book on this TBR. And the only reason I stuck it on here is because I do have it on audio from NetGalley, and it came out in June, so it's already been released. And I am currently reading the second book in this series, and that's Wicked Beauty by Katee Robert. It is book number 3 in the Dark Olympus series. So these are retelling of Greek, Roman, I almost said fairy tales, mythology. A little different. So yeah, I have to admit, when I first was accepted for this one, I was super stoked, same as I was for Electric Idol, because I love Neon Gods, which is the first book in the Dark Olympus series. I have to be honest, this is a bit of a spoiler for my vlog that will be coming up in the next few days. I'm not 100% loving Electric Idol, so this one I'm not as excited as I was, but we're going to go with it anyway because they are well-written books. I do like them quite a bit in that aspect. So I'm going to read the back of this one for you. In Olympus, you either have the power to rule or you are ruled. Achilles may have been born with nothing, but as a child he vowed he would claw his way into the poisonous city's inner circle. Now that a role has opened to anyone with the strength to claim it, he and his partner, whose name I can't pronounce, but hold on. This is the other character. Wait for it. Patroclus. He and his partner, Patroclus, plan to complete and double their odds of winning. Neither expect infamous beauty Helen to be part of the prize, or for the complicated fire that burns the moment she looks their way. So I think this is going to be a menage romance, I'm assuming. And it's a retelling of Helen of Troy. Again, that's my understanding. So we shall see. I'm going to give it a try. If I'm not a fan of this one, I'm probably going to stop the series at that point. But we shall see. I might be surprised. I might enjoy it. I think the thing is that I love Neon Gods because I love the myth of Persephone and Hades, excuse me. I don't know as well the myth of Eros and Psyche. And Helen of Troy, I'm even less knowledgeable on. So maybe doing some reading about it first, the original myth itself, might help me with this one. I don't know. Or should I just jump in and read it and just forget about it? Just read it for what it is and go for it. Hey, I hit my step count for the day and I'm just sitting here. Uh-oh, must be waving my hand around so much. I did go for a walk this morning, so that's a good thing. Anyway, back to the books. Next up, we have Off the Chain by Janice Thompson. The next 6 books are the ones that are all being released this month. This is the first book in the Gone to the Dog series. This is a cozy mystery series. Comes out on the 1st of July, so it comes out tomorrow. Marigold Evans' first attempt at rescuing an abandoned pooch lands her in a drainage pipe in Branham, Texas, and almost in jail, until Parker Jensen comes to her rescue. Then a bad day only gets worse as the Lone Star Vet Clinic where they both work is vandalized and a list of suspects starts to climb. With the help of her fellow employees, Marigold sets out to simultaneously, solve the crime, rehab the rescued dog, and help more dogs in crisis. But why would anyone continue to work against all of their good efforts? Yeah, so it says it's a cozy mystery, but it doesn't sound like anyone dies, which is kind of refreshing for a cozy. I know that there are some people who are not fans of, they want, murder. Give me the murder in the cozies. And I know Tiffany over at the Beach Bum Bookworm, she doesn't like cold cases either, but I like that a lot because, for small towns, they have a surprisingly high murder count. So it's kind of refreshing to hear one that isn't necessarily a murder. So I'm excited about reading that one. Next up, super excited. This is a very favorite author of mine. You guys know this. We have A Home at Cornflower Cottage by the great Tilly Tennant. This comes out also on the 1st of July. Emile has lived in Cornflower Cottage since she was born. She did her homework at the scrubbed kitchen table and helped her mum hang washing from the line on the old oak tree in the garden. And when her beloved parents died, Cornflower Cottage became Emile's armor against the world. Emile, yeah, that's it, Emile. The trouble is that Cornflower Cottage is just too big for her. With a broken boiler and a leaking roof, she knows she must do something to make ends meet. When she meets Xander, a scruffy, brown-eyed nature documentary maker living out of his backpack in a nearby hotel, Emile rents him a room, hoping a lodger will solve her problems. She soon realizes that her troubles are only just beginning. Xander's muddy clothes all over the cottage and early morning jaunts to photograph otters are going to take some getting used to. But when an argument turns to a heart-to-heart, she finds herself confessing how lonely she has been. Does that not sound delightful? Oh my God, Tilly Tennant. Oh, I love her book so much. I'm so looking forward to that one. So the next one that we have, this one is a great, just look at the cover. This is just summer. This is summer. And it's called The Summer of Christmas. And it's by Janet and Keith Giglow. I don't know if it's a husband and wife writing team. I'm not absolutely certain. This comes out on the 5th of July. For all of my Hallmark Christmas movie fans out there, this is one you just might want to check out. Ivy Green, an up-and-coming screenwriter, can only watch as her life is turned upside down. Her script, based on her love story with her high school sweetheart, Nick Shepard, who broke up with her days before Christmas 5 years ago, is being filmed in her hometown. In the middle of summer, during the month of July, the production crew creates a winter wonderland Christmas. Now back home, Ivy is forced to face Nick for the first time, which he isn't too happy about. To complicate matters, Ivy isn't sure of her relationship with the producer. The town is overflowing with movie stars and adoring fans, and worst of all, the actress playing Ivy develops a crush on the real Nick. Now, with renewed and confusing feelings about Nick, Ivy is determined to see if there is anything left between them. But in the end, Ivy will need to rewrite her life script to get back to everything she thought she lost. Come on. I mean, think about it. Those Hallmark Christmas movies need to be filmed sometime. Guarantee you it's not during the holidays, so I am absolutely in love with the sound of that book. The covers seem very campy to me, but when I read the back of it, I'm like, oh my God, that sounds so good. So, yay. Next up, also coming out on the 5th of July, we have Should I Tell You by Jill Mansell. Amber, Lachlan, and Raphael met as teenagers in the Cornish seaside home of kind-hearted foster parents. Years on, the bond between them is unbreakable. But Amber has a secret. She's in love with Lachlan. She can't tell him because that would never work. He's definitely not the settling down type. Surely it's better to keep him as a friend than to risk losing him for good. Raphael has his own dilemma. He has the dream girlfriend in V, until all went horribly wrong, and he still can't understand why. Is V hiding something from him? Now their widowed foster dad Teddy has found a new love. Younger, charming, and beautiful, Olga seems perfect, but is she? Or will she break Teddy's fragile heart? So this is the story of these 4 people. It sounds delightful. Jill Mansell, I have borrowed her books. I've looked at her books. I haven't actually read one of her books yet. But they sound great, so I am very, very much looking forward to that one. The next book I have is another YA contemporary. I believe this is like with a touch of magical realism in it. So this is The Charmed List by Julie Abe. This comes out also on the 5th of July. After spending most of high school as the quiet girl, Ellie is ready to take some risks and have a life-changing summer, starting with her anti-wallflower list. 13 items she's going to check off one by one. She's looking forward to riding roller coasters, making her art Instagram public, maybe, and going on an epic road trip with her best friend Leah. But when number 4 on Ellie's list goes horribly wrong, revenge on Jack, she's certain her summer has gone from charmed to cursed. Instead of a road trip with Leah, Ellie finds herself stuck in a car with Jack, driving to a magical convention, But as Ellie and Jack travel down the coast of California, number 13 on her list, Fall in Love, may be happening without her realizing it. So they're going to a magical convention, but I understand, like I said, there's some magical realism in this, so we shall see. And next up, this book, Always Be My Duchess by Amelia Howard. The cover is what sold me on this before I even read anything about the book. I'm like, oh my God, that is a retelling of one of my favorite movies of all time, just by looking at the cover. And what movie? I'm sure there are a lot of you who are of a certain age know exactly what movie it is, but in case you don't, there's the movie poster. Pretty Woman meets Bridgerton in this witty, vivacious historical take on 90s rom-coms by USA Today bestselling author Amelia Howard. Lord Leinster Blackstone, the stern Duke of Montcroy, has only one interest, increasing his considerable fortune. After a series of betrayals, he keeps his emotions buried deep. Money, after all, can't break a man's heart, or make promises it can't keep. But when his reputation for being heartless jeopardizes a new business deal, he finds himself seeking a most unusual and alluring solution. Once an up-and-coming ballerina, Miss Genevieve is now hopelessly out of work after refusing to become a wealthy patron's mistress. Genevieve was promptly shown the door to the streets when she accidentally saves the life of a handsome duke. She doubts the encounter will go any better than her last brush with nobility. But instead of propositioning her, he makes her an offer she would be a fool to refuse. Act as his fake fiancé in exchange for a fortune enough to start over.
No, thank you. Hi.
Hello.
Do you remember me?
No, I'm sorry.
I was in here yesterday. You wouldn't wait on me?
Oh,
You work on commission, right?
yes. Big mistake. Big.
Huge.
It's a retelling of Pretty Woman. Oh, and the cover of this book. And the title to me is also that old Mariah Carey song that came out probably around the same time, Always Be My Baby. Right? This is 90s. This is the 90s. And I'm here for it. I can't wait. That one is going to be so good. Next up, we have the last of the YA contemporary novels. And this is Take Me Home Tonight by Morgan Matson. This came out in May of 2021. So I have read a Morgan Matson book. I read the one where, was it called Save the Date? Where the girl's older sibling was getting married. And it was like the day leading up to the wedding. It was really good and I really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to this one. And I was approved for this one on NetGalley last year. So I'm very excited. So it's 2 girls, 1 night, 0 phones. Kat and Stevie, best friends, theater kids, polar opposites, has snuck away from the suburbs to spend the night in New York City. They have it all planned out. They'll see a play, eat at the city's hottest restaurant, and have the best night ever. What could go wrong? Well, kind of a lot. They're barely off the train before they're dealing with destroyed phones, family drama, and unexpected Pomeranians. Over the next few hours, they'll have to grapple with old flames, terrible theater, and unhelpful cab drivers. But there's also cute boys to kiss, parties to crash, dry cleaning to deliver, don't ask, and the world's best museum to explore. Over the course of a wild night in the city that never sleeps, both Kat and Stevie will get a wake-up call about friendship, their choices, and finally discover what they really want for their future. That is, assuming they can make it to Grand Central before the clock strikes midnight. I love stories that take place in a very specific amount of time. Like for this one, it's one night. It is one night that all of this stuff kind of takes place. One of my favorite movies of all time, talking about harking back to, years gone by, is Adventures in Babysitting. That movie, the entire plot of that movie takes place over a few short hours. And I love it. I just love the actual heightened drama of having that finite amount of time. And this book sounds so good, and I'm very, very excited about reading it. And last but not least on this list is a book that was already on a TBR probably earlier this year. I didn't get to it, and I need to get to it because it sounds adorable. I Hate You More by Lucy Gilmore. This came out originally in November of 2021. A grumpy dog show judge, a determined former beauty queen, and a golden retriever more interested in stealing bacon than winning Best in Show. Ruby Taylor gave up pageant life the day she turned 18 and figured she'd never look back. But when an old friend begs her to show her beloved golden retriever at the upcoming Canine Classic, Ruby reluctantly straps on her heels and gets to work. If only she knew exactly what the adorable lazy lump of dog was getting her into. If there's one thing veterinarian Spencer knows in this world, it's dogs. Human beings are an entirely different animal, especially stubborn, gorgeous women clearly in way over their heads. As judge for the local dog show, Spencer advises Ruby to quit while she still can. But her old favor of winning has returned, and she wants the show to show the stern-eyed judge that she's more than just a pretty face. In the end, she'll show him who's best in show. Yay! A dog book. I'm not a dog person, I'm a cat person, but I do love dog books, so yeah. So anyway, guys, that's it. This is a longer than normal video, little chatting at the beginning. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. A list of all the books I mentioned will be in the description box below, but these are all the ones going into the jar for the month of July. I am super, super excited. Let me know, what are you guys reading in July? Have you read any of these books, and what did you think about them? And until my next video, everybody, take care and happy reading. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye, guys.